back. Well, today the Jeep just came back from the vehicle inspection, or MOT, or control technique, or TÜV, or whatever you call it in your country, and it failed. Not quite unexpected. On the rear brakes there is a design flaw on the right hand side with the brake cables here, with the handbrake cables. It's actually very close to the exhaust, and every few years it just seizes up, and so the handbrake doesn't work anymore. And I also believe that my rear brake cylinders are leaking. It was actually reported low efficiency on the right hand side, so I'm gonna get that drum off, and doesn't look too bad. So we're gonna replace the cylinder, the handbrake cable, give the brake shoes a bit of a clean, and that should fix it. Sorry for the poor lighting, but I'm outside on a tarpaulin because it's raining at the moment, so I can't drive in the workshop at the moment because it's not high enough for the Jeep. So we'll take that apart and take some more footage then. Yeah, there's plenty of friction material left, so, and it looks okay actually. You just push the pedal and see if it moves or not. It is moving, so that's fine. So it's just the handbrake cable and the low efficiency on that side for whatever reason. I got a nasty groove in the brake drum. You could see that here. It happened because of the adjustment. I don't know if that's visible. There's an adjustment lock lever or whatever you call it, and it's an aftermarket set of hardware, all the springs and things like that, and apparently this was a little bit too big, so it was scratching on the drum and actually ground a nice groove into the drum here. You can see it here. That's not very nice, but it was okay last year at the test, so it should be okay this year as well if you get it sorted. So first we're gonna check if the spare cylinder is actually the same, because there are so many different ones around here. It can be a nightmare. I'm gonna check the handbrake action as well. That's not moving at all. Okay, so there is no action on the handbrake. Yeah, it doesn't move at all. So this is completely seized, that cable. It's pretty hard to get them out, so I usually just cut them off and put a new one in. They're not very expensive. Obviously they're all aftermarket parts, so okay. You could pull the handbrake lever just into the first ratchet, and it actually does work on the other side, but it doesn't work here, simply because the cable is seized again. I need to find a way to make that a little bit more durable. Probably put some insulation sleeve around, or it comes with some insulation sleeve as stock, but it's probably not enough. And it also rattles. There's always a knocking noise, but that's the brake cable knocking on the muffler here. I don't know if that's visible here. So that's the muffler and that's the brake cable. It's just poor design. Alright. Well, first let's get it dusted. Don't do this at home, because brake dust might be not very healthy. So always obtain your health and safety precautions, no matter what I do here. I think we got the right cylinder here. It's the same length. Well, the casing has the same length, and this round register here looks the same as well. It's supposed to be a cylinder for the Jeep, but I've got at least 5 other types which are slightly bigger, and they obviously don't fit. So if you work on a Jeep Cherokee, always check dimensions, because if you're in the middle of the job, you may just notice the part you've got doesn't fit, and eventually you just destroyed the old one. So it's a very good idea to do that before you mess around. There's so many variants around, and it depends if it's a petrol or diesel or whatever. This is actually a 4-liter auto, and it seems to have the 9-inch brake drums. That's what I found so far. Had the same hassle with the brake shoes here. The first set was actually wrong. It was bigger and narrower, so it didn't fit. I don't know what car it is for, but not for this one. So let's see if it gets... yeah, it's windy and cold here and raining. And if we take it apart, you're going to be careful with this little cable here, because this is for the automatic brake wear adjuster, and there's plenty of bits, so it's a good idea to take a picture or something like that, just to remember how it was together. I did it so many times, so I know how it comes together. The springs can be very dangerous because they've got quite a bit of tension on it. Here you go. And that's the pads, the adjuster spring, and that's the handbrake lever here, which is our problem. The handbrake cable itself is just wedged in here. It's sort of a push and lock thing, but I found they're usually pretty rusty and you can't get them out anymore. So worst case, we just cut it off. That's how it looks like. That's the ABS sensor. That's the ABS tooth wheel. Gotta be very careful with those, not to destroy anything here, because I have no spare. Obviously a good clean would help as well. So now the challenge comes to get the nut of the brake line of the cylinder here, and also the cylinder screws, which are not a big problem if you rip them off. Just use new ones. So that's the brake line, and that, hopefully that's visible, these 2 bolts holding the cylinder here. It all looks pretty rusty, so we may have some fun there. We'll see. So we got the cable out without cutting it off. Now try to pull the handbrake. It hasn't moved. couldn't see any movement. So the cable is completely seized, I believe. That's the reason why the handbrake doesn't work anymore. And apparently it's a safety related part, so it's gonna work. Even if it's an automatic and you never use it. Well, at least I don't. Now we soaked that in WD-40. You probably put some heat on as well. I don't have one of these special brake line spanners which fits here. That's a 10mm, but apparently that's 9mm. So we'll have to improvise something here to get it off. I heat it up a little bit, maybe it's moving easily then. So after a lot of searching and looking around, I couldn't find anything which fits here. So what we came up with is this one. I just cut off a little bit, and hopefully this will be strong enough to turn that nut or bolt or whatever you call it. We'll see. And that's the other side of it. And that bolt here needs to be wound off because the cable is completely seized. I can't pull it back, so I need to release that. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but we'll get there. Well, while we're messing around here, we found that this piece was bent and broken off and rusty. So we prepared it already for welding. I'm gonna fix that because when I go to the second inspection he might spot that. So we're gonna fix that as well. I think I just caught something while being in the mud somewhere. We made a template and cut that off, and the rest we're going to do with the plasma cutter. Do with a few more amps, but it's okay. The rest of the amps are running. Good to go now. Well, now I know why the plasma cutter was so jumpy, bumpy, the ground wire was loose. I decided just to stick weld that because it's way too windy for MIG welding, it just blows the gas away. So give that a try. And you can see what I'm doing here. Lift it up. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, stick welding in the car is just not very exciting yet. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. The last one was a blind welding. There's no room for it. Outer darkening helmet. And I obviously had a good one into it. Well, blend it a little bit and see if it's okay, and if not, we just do another pass here. But I think it's more a cosmetic thing rather than a structural. It only holds the damper. I think that's pretty enough. Not the greatest welding job, but I had no choice. If it's so windy. I think that looks alright. I can live with that. So at least we got some structure back. Well, we got it back together. An important one on the Jeeps is actually this little spring here with that cable here. Goes all the way up here, and that's the automatic adjuster. That's how it works. So every time the brakes are pulled and there is enough clearance up here, it will pull it out and adjust that. It's a clever idea, but they quite often got seized or don't work anymore or whatever, and so that doesn't always work, so it always needs checking. There is a hole here, this one, which is normally a rubber grommet in it. Don't know where it is.
I had it somewhere. I took it out, and so you can see from the other side, and obviously turn that. The trick is knowing in which direction to turn if you turn from the back, because otherwise you loosen the brake rather than tighten it. So get the drum on and set it to a basic setting, and then you're going to set the handbrake.